Hey everybody, and welcome to the Foundation First Fitness Show with Bob Echo, and today is episode 40, and we are going to be discussing the dreaded pull-up and how to get over that hump of being able to master that exercise. So this is one of the most common exercises. It's actually one of the exercises that if I could literally pick one exercise out of the bag for your upper body that I would tell you if there was anything that you should master, it would be the pull-up. It's one of those exercises that, although it's probably not as functional as, like, let's say a push-up, it's still like a master class in itself. If you're able to do it, chances are is that your body's in damn good shape, your upper body's great. And when I say able to do it, I mean actually able to do a full pull-up, not one of those like half pull-ups, half all the way down, not fully extended and kind of not really under control, and your body's just kind of like swinging to try to get up, so you're using your legs. I'm talking about a strict dead hang, bottom to top pull-up. If you're able to do that, you are off to the races. Now, the pull-up is actually a really important exercise because it is simply an exercise that that basically becomes one of those body weight movements that I love. And it is essentially a climbing maneuver. So as humans, we are somewhat designed to climb. Now, obviously, we're not as well designed as our ancestors, the apes, if you believe in that, whatever. I don't really care what you guys think about that. But if you do look at that, maybe not as able to climb as monkeys are with their long arms and smaller bodies. We're a little bit more balanced out, and we don't have this same pulling mechanics as they do, but we are very, very similar to that. So we do have the ability to do it. But generally what happens is along that way, we don't live up in the trees. We don't live on high areas where we have to climb a lot. So we basically just lose that ability, right? If you don't use it, you lose it. So since we're not climbing all the time, we spend a lot of time sitting at home, sitting down, walking around. Our ability to climb, we're not exposed to it as often. And that's usually one of the reasons why we struggle with that exercise so much, is that we spend so much time not really in and exposed to that stimulus. So we don't actually master, we don't actually learn it. It is probably one of the furthest things away from what we normally do. We normally walk, so climbing would be completely the other side of the coin. Now, it demands a tremendous amount from our upper body. Pull-ups are one of the toughest exercises on the upper body because your entire body is literally hanging. So you have to conjure up the strength in your grip to not let go. Your core has to stay stable. Your shoulders have to stay stable, and you have to pull all of your weight up and then slowly in control lower it back down. So it's a very, very strenuous exercise on your upper body. So it demands a lot from you. That's one of the reasons why a lot of individuals struggle, is because the threshold to be able to do one requires such a tremendous amount of strength that if you're not able to kind of get up there, you usually basically sit around zero for the longest time. And generally what will usually happen is that journey from 0 to 1 is very long for many of you. The journey from 1 to 10 becomes a lot quicker because once we've hit that threshold, everything else just starts rolling for us. So it's not really an exercise you want to give up on. You want to continue at it, but there are a couple of things that you really want to do that are going to help you master that. And today, I'm going to go over 3 things that I think are going to drastically help your ability to do that pull-up exercise and master that exercise. So the first thing I would tell you to do is you have to help yourself out. What I mean by that is, if I was to tell any athlete, whether they can do it or not, and I told them, hey, I want you to put a 50-pound bag on your back and try to do a pull-up. Chances are a lot of them are going to be like, well, that's not happening. I can't do that because I could barely do 5. You want me to do it with 50 pounds on my back? There's no way I can do it. So when it comes to pull-ups, you have to understand that if you're carrying your weight and if you weigh a lot more than you should be or that you want to be, you're going to be struggling to really be able to pull yourself up. So your body's ability to lift itself up is going to be directly related to your weight because that's what you're actually trying to lift. So if you get a little bit lighter and you shed some weight, you will be improving that likelihood of lifting it. You're probably going to get there a little bit faster too. Now, one of the beauties, before I move on, one of the beauties about a bodyweight exercise and what makes a bodyweight exercise so special is that if you can't do it, you can't do it. There's no way around it. There's no your body's ability to know that it can't do something and that it will probably get hurt will literally limit you from being able to do it. So if you're trying to squat and you can't squat, well, you can't squat. There's no way around it. You can't just suddenly snap your fingers and, oh, yeah, it's because I was. No, no, no. If your hips aren't stable, your core's not stable, your hamstring quad ratio, all these things are not in balance, they're not on point, not meeting a certain threshold, you can't squat. Same thing with a push up. If you can't stabilize your core and you can't stabilize your shoulders, you can't hold your neck up, you can't keep your spine in line, you try to do a push up, you don't have that upper body strength, you can't do it. Your body's not going to try to like figure it out. I mean, you see a lot of people squirming, but they're not really doing a push-up. They're kind of doing a worm thing. So the same thing holds true for a pull-up. If you're trying to pull yourself, I literally just, if you're watching this on YouTube, I just pointed to my rack, but you can't even see my rack. It's literally in black all the way back there. But if you're trying to do a pull-up and you're not strong enough, don't have the strength in your shoulders, you don't have that core stability, you don't have that ability, you're not too heavy, your body's going to say, well, I can't do this. Your shoulders aren't strong enough. You're not strong enough. I'm not going to hurt myself for you to do it, so we're not going to do it. And that's it. And it just stops you from pulling. It stops you from being able to do it. So that's the beauty of a bodyweight exercise. The other side of it that's really great is that once you're able to do it, your body becomes significantly more athletic. You being able to squat, do a push-up, and do a pull-up actually improves your athletic ability by quite a lot. Now, I know that athletic ability is kind of factored into your skill set, your ability to change directions, your ability to perform athletic movements, blah, blah, blah. But one of those areas in terms of the strength side of things, one of the areas that's really going to drastically affect it is your ability to move your body, right? If you're able to move your body really well, your athletic ability generally goes up with it. So that's one of the things I will say. So if you're able to lose some body weight, it will definitely help. But at the same time, it falls into that beauty of that body weight exercise. The second thing I would tell you that I kind of mentioned, I kind of dropped some hints in there a little bit, is shoulder mechanics. Now, shoulder mechanics is essentially the gliding of the shoulder blade over and around your shoulder. If you're able to stabilize your shoulder, if you're able to stabilize that movement, this exercise becomes a lot easier. What usually happens, what I see a lot of individuals struggling with, whether you do get the pull-up or not, is that even when they do get the pull-up, chances are sometimes you'll see that shoulder blade just doesn't ride properly and there isn't a smooth mechanic there, which kind of makes that pull-up exercise look really shoddy and it doesn't look as crisp and clean as I'd like it to be. So a lot of individuals get stuck in that half rep zone where they're not really getting a full extension of their elbows, not dropping into that dead hang and getting right back up and controlling it the whole way. They're almost kind of half stopping down here. And then as they pull, they're kind of, as they're pulling, I'm going to turn sideways so those of you watching on YouTube can see this. They're kind of swinging away from it and then coming right back into it. So they're not really swinging, but their body is just kind of angling itself into a more optimal position instead of being able to really kind of get a slight lean on their shoulder to get their head away, but really get that nice tight pull that you like to see when you're looking at it from the side. So you want to make sure that your shoulder mechanics are on point. So whether you're pressing overhead, pulling down, any type of pulling, pressing movement, shoulder mechanics, shoulder exercises, if you guys are like looking for some shoulder stability stuff, check out my Instagram page. I have tons of stuff on shoulders. I post a lot of stuff on the shoulder mobility, shoulder mechanics, shoulder movement, shoulder stability more than anything. So, grab a couple of exercises there and you're going to see that they're going to be able to help you kind of stabilize that shoulder a lot better. The third thing I would tell you to master a pull-up is patience. And what I mean by patience is not just wait for a really long time before it arrives and you're able to do it and keep going at it. It's literally be patient at each phase and each step along that way. A lot of you, and I see it a lot, jump. You start getting a little bit of success and you jump. You don't allow your shoulder stability to catch up. You don't allow your body weight to catch up to it. So yes, there are tricks to doing it. Yes, there is the pull down machine. There is the pull up machine where you put your weight on. It's an assisted pull up and it lifts a lot of your weight, which I don't really think is super great, but it's better than nothing. Some of you use those elastics where you strap it on your legs and you do a pull up. I use that with some of my guys, but before any of them are even anywhere remotely close to that, the first thing we're starting with is just shoulder mechanics. I'm trying to teach them how to do a normal downward pulling maneuver, whether it be with elastics or whether it be with a lat pull down machine or a cable system. It's really understanding that ability to take that shoulder, glide it down and allow it to nice and smoothly move over the shoulder blade, over the rib cage. Once you're able to really do that, then everything else is going to really fall into place. That's what you want to see. You want to see that understanding from part A to part B to part C to part C. A lot of individuals will jump from part A to part D, and there's B and C in the middle, and they're sitting there going like, I can't understand why I'm not getting any better. And I've been doing the same thing forever, but I'm never getting any better. And usually it lies in the fact that they've actually skipped a giant step and they let go of that shoulder stability. They let go of that core stability that they need in that core strength. And their body's just not able to keep up with it anymore. And it just kind of throws in the towel and says, all right, this is where we're stopping because you're not allowing me to move the way I want to move. And I'm not going to let you move the way you want to move and get yourself into a pull-up. So you really have to take it easy and start, following that path properly, building that shoulder stability properly, slowly, and I mean very slowly, ramping up that weight. If you notice that you're stuck at a specific area where, and I know a lot of individuals will do this, so we'll set up kind of like a progression to doing a pull-up. So basically supported out, legs supported, resistance with the resistance band, or you'll do a lat pull down and kind of gradually pick up that weight. There's tons of ways to do that. And a lot of individuals, I'll see them, they'll be stuck in one area and they'll never really get past it and they don't know why. Well, take a look at those three things, especially the take it slow and maybe even take a step back. And instead of being where you are, maybe take a couple of steps back and be like, all right, maybe I'll make this exercise a lot easier before I try to make myself a lot better at it. Let me make it significantly easier. Let me improve my stability. Then I'll turn the wheel a bit and I'll start heading the right direction because I'm going to be in a better position to handle that later on. So, and that really holds true for a lot of exercises. So it's not just a pull-up. I just thought it was a really key one because I see it so often, especially in my athletes where I work with a team and I'm like, all right, guys, we're doing pull-ups today. And I'm watching them pull-ups and I'm like, what are you guys doing? And they're like, yeah, it's a pull-up. And just they get a little leg swing and they're kind of half wrapping it and not getting all the way down. I'm like, whoa, there's a lot going on here that you guys are missing. So I start breaking down that movement for them and you start seeing where they're struggling. And it's actually really interesting to see how they're improving in everything else that they're doing when they start breaking it down, because that shoulder stability ties into their pressing ability, but it also ties into their pushing ability, bench pressing ability, and their push-up ability, and their core ability is actually helping out with their lower body strength and the other. And so it literally once you start breaking things down, you really start seeing how much everything is just kind of woven together. So together, interlaced together, crossing. They are interconnected, something like that. One of those words. And it really starts becoming really interesting. You start realizing that a lot of what I'm doing and a lot of what other strength coaches are doing is they're really just sticking to fundamentals and kind of just backtracking a bit, cleaning up the mess, coming right back into it, and you see the problem goes away. But not just that problem, but like 10 other problems go away at the same time because it's all really stemming from that same issue. So if you're able to really break that down and put yourself in a position to kind of go into that realm of being able to take a step back and going over the shoulder mechanics and, definitely dropping that body weight or maybe trying to improve your body, your body's makeup. So basically dropping the body fat, increasing the muscle mass, you're going to start noticing that this is going to become a lot easier. The last thing I would say is that I would even tell you, I'm going to give a fourth tip here. I would tell you to start spending some time hanging. What I mean by hanging is basically just dead hanging. So getting your shoulders ready to support itself. Dead hanging is really good. That distraction ability. So basically trying to take your arm and suck it out of the socket is actually really good for the shoulders. A lot of individuals that I deal with that have shoulder issues, when they're able to, one of the first exercises I'm giving them is literally just hanging, suspending themselves and getting their body to understand, the rotator cuff to understand how to retract and hold on to that shoulder and actually maintain a nice stable position while they're doing it. And it really you really just see their pull-up abilities and their shoulder abilities and their shoulder mechanics just skyrocket right after that. So definitely throw that in there. Maybe some hanging time would be good too. So put those four things together. I know I said three, but go into four. Put those four things together. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys are watching us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Leave me a little comment. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys are listening to this on the podcast, leave me a little comment. Let me know what you guys think. Reach out to me if you have any questions about pull-ups, because I know it's one of those issues that a lot of people may be kind of somewhere along that road and really want to get some help and get that all kind of figured out. All right, until the next time, guys, have yourselves a great day and keep building that foundation.